This is going to be a life-changing, game-changing 4 years. Now, I'm prepared to be disappointed on a few accounts.
You haven't quite managed your expectations.
I'm talking about government.
You've set a pretty high bar.
I know what I'm in for, but those promises that were broken last time he was in, again, this is a very different Trump term. He is different as a person, but secondly, he's ready this time. He's not the new kid on the block. He's got friends in positions of power, and he means business. I cannot wait for the next 4 years. It is going to be completely and utterly
Joe Hildebrand, do you share Liz's exuberance?
Look, to paraphrase Captain America in the Avengers, there's only one Messiah, ma'am, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that. So I don't think Trump.
I do not believe I ever made, and I never would make. It
sounded a lot like it. It sounded a lot like it. No, I don't think Trump is going to save the world or fix everything, but I do think it'll be very interesting. I do think he has the courage or the cojones to do things that other administrations have always said can't or shouldn't be done.
This is what I'm talking about.
I think the reason, and let's see. I mean, I'm all, you know, I'm waiting. I've got the popcorn. I'm ready to go. But I think the Hamas ceasefire, for better or worse, I think that was very much a result of Donald Trump setting that deadline with that sort of sword of Damocles. I'm going to blow you all to kingdom come if this isn't sorted by my
inauguration. But this isn't changing the world, according to you,
No, I think it is. Well, I think it is good, but whether or not that ceasefire lasts and whether or not we've just released almost 2,000 terrorists for the sake of 33 innocent, wonderful, poor, long-suffering people. But again, it's going to be a pretty interesting scenario. I think the same with Hezbollah and Iran. I think they're both playing nice because they're scared of Trump. It looks like Zelensky and Putin will probably come to the table as well. But, you know, some of the other stuff, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. One thing that really struck me.
You're just talking about foreign policy. I'm talking about America itself. The calls that he has already made by these executive orders.
But we live outside
the very
America.
day that he was sworn in.
But it's American foreign policy that made us most to Australia. We all know the saying,
America sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. And here in Australia especially, when that guy is in the White House, people catch the big dog energy. We saw it even in Morrison to an extent. And good grief, if any guy can get a whiff of big dog energy and it work a miracle. I couldn't believe that even Morrison was subjected to this, and it seemed to have a small effect even on someone like him. We saw this in the UK. There was such an emboldening, and this is on the back of already an emboldening that we're seeing across the Western world, in Europe, as these conservative, far more conservative, right-leaning governments come to power. Now we have the linchpin of the free world. I certainly think. Again, he's starting to sound sort of a bit crazy messianic. I don't think it's going to be all perfect. I don't think all the problems will be fixed. I already flagged that, Joe.
You just said it just then. But I think that
there is a momentum, and this is glorious.
I think what is good is obviously that he has, you know, the death of woke is good. That is fantastic. The fact that identity politics is dead in the water is fantastic. It'll be interesting to see how there are only two genders things works, because that is going to create some just technical difficulties. I'm all
Bring it on.
Yeah, sure. And then the other big thing is AUKUS, of course. So we want to make sure that the US is still all in on AUKUS. Trump has always been a sort of America first, American exceptionalist kind of guy, and that is totally fine for Americans and America, but Australia needs American protection.
Okay, so to sum up, Liz is over the moon. This is the greatest moment in our lifetimes. Joe is sit on the fence, wait and see.
I'm excited. I'm still excited.
I'm so flagged.
I'm waiting for the movie to start. I'm sitting in the front row with my popcorn, waiting for the show to start.
To lay down the fact that this isn't a jolly, significant and very jubilant
Let's have a look at some of what Trump said in his inauguration speech. Of course, Trump's presidency really is a miracle. It's a miracle he was elected when you consider where he was just 2 years ago. It's a miracle he lived to be elected when you consider a bullet came within a millimetre of taking off his head, a point that Trump referenced during his speech today.
Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then and believe even more so now that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again.
Okay, a couple of points
there he
about
is.
this, and you were sniggering
God's
when he said
chosen
that,
one.
but I honestly
No, I was
believe...
laughing. It is. I promise you, Trump is making a gag with that.
No, he's not. Trump actually believes that God saved his life, and I don't know anyone who could believe that the bullet came within a millimetre of taking off his head and that wasn't an act of divine protection. Anyone who's religious would certainly believe that, which brings me to another thought. He mentioned God a couple of times in his speech today. It's almost like God is back in fashion when you consider the Democrats in their 2024 policy platform did not mention God at all. In 2019, the Democrat National Committee said that their largest constituency is people without any religious affiliation. And do you remember Joe Biden a couple of years ago when he talked about how we're all created equal by the thing?
Yeah,
he couldn't even bring himself to say the
supreme
word
being.
God in the Declaration of Independence. But Trump references the fact that not only does he believe he was saved by God to do what he's called to do, which means he is a man on a mission and not mucking around. But later on in the speech, he also talked about the fact that we will not forget we are a nation under God. All of a sudden, the God word is being used in popular culture all over again.
Absolutely. I take Joe's point, which I think this is your point, that obviously Trump knows his audience, as every politician does. And only the good Lord himself knows how sincere Trump's belief in him, Trump's faith in him. That's between him and his God. All I know is, gosh, it galvanizes the base.
He knows
me included. I can't even vote for the guy, so obviously I didn't. But he certainly carries it beautifully. And this is what the backbone of America wants to hear. It's not just the Bible Belt. It's people who have been, feel unheard, people who feel like their country has been trashed over the last 4 years. And even those who aren't, incredibly religious are like, you know what? What harm is it going to do if we do chuck in a few prayers? And it was just minutes after Trump said the oath that they had these kids marching through the foyer singing, glory, glory, hallelujah, his truth keeps marching on. Like this whole, I watched the whole ceremony. It was extremely livening if you are a person of faith. And I take your point, Joe, that wasn't an accident. I get it. But when it comes to a politician faking, as many of our pollies do, faking a relationship with Christ, I always just go, you know what? At the end of the day, there is one righteous judge and you'll answer to him.
But he's not.